For the most part, the S23 Ultra has been absolutely fantastic. Worth the money, the best performance, the best Android device, I think, currently on the marketplace. But for some reason, this problem keeps popping up. They've done a slightly better job with the S22 Ultra. In fact, I did a video on that. At one point during one of the updates, it had almost gone away. But now with the S23 Ultra, this particular problem is back, and that is shutter lag. And the reason why I label it a major problem is because you can trigger it just with point and shoot photos, the stuff that most people are going to be taking on a mostly daily basis, and the camera function and mode that you're going to use the most. If this were something that happened in, I don't know, Pro Raw, when you're taking whatever photo and you mess with the white balance and the zoom, the optical zoom wasn't quite smooth, and then you got shutter lag, I'd have less of a concern about it. But the fact that you open up the camera app, hit the shutter button, and nothing happens is really where it becomes a little bit buggy for me. This was down to, I was taking a picture on Wednesday night, and I'd go ahead, I hit the shutter button, and I got not one, not two, but 3 full seconds of nothing staring back at me. And then it went ahead and showed me the photo that I had taken. The problem that I have with it is that you don't get any sort of feedback. It's not like there's any sort of haptic there that at least lets you know that it understands that you've hit the shutter. There's nothing. You'll go ahead and tap it, and nothing will happen for 2 or 3 seconds while it processes that particular image. And I don't want to hear about how, well, that's how Samsung gets their photo quality. It has to do with the science of how the camera works. If that would work to me if they were the only phone in the market, that would work to me if somehow the photos that this thing were putting up were far and away better than the competition, but that's not the case, right? You got an iPhone that takes photos just fine. You have a Pixel 7 Pro that takes photos just fine. Oh, and by the way, the photos are pretty darn good as well. So it's not like you're head and shoulders above the competition and they don't have this problem. Nobody else has this problem. There are ways to alleviate it. I'll go over that in this video as well. But the problem that I have with that is that even if it says you're not sacrificing that much quality, you shouldn't have to do any of that. You got 200 megapixels that you paid for, $1,200. It should work. And it's not like it's a new problem. It's been around forever. And it's just whether they're so happy with their camera technology that they don't think it's an issue, or they don't really care, whatever the case may be, or they're just, they might be arrogant at this point. Samsung might say, we got a huge lead. People buy the phone anyway. People love the phone. If the shutter lag is the one thing that people got to deal with, then so be it. But you do get those motion blurring photos. You do miss photos. If you got pets, if you got kids, fast-moving stuff, you do miss because of that poor camera app or whatever the optimization happens to be. So let's talk about how you alleviate it. You can't get this on the Play Store, okay? You got to go into your Galaxy store there that you have there, and you're going to download Camera Assistant. And when you load up Camera Assistant, you're going to get a bunch of different options here. One of them is going to be Quick Tap Shutter. If you turn that on, it says take pictures as soon as your finger touches the shutter button instead of when you lift it. That to me is not the problem, by the way. That little description, and this does help because it activates the shutter immediately, but that's not really what the problem is. It's not when you lift. I tap and lift, and I'm still waiting 2 seconds. The thing's looking back at me like a dog that's confused about what I just told it. Then you're going to go into capture speed, and you're going to see these options here. Prioritize quality, balance speed and quality, prioritize speed, and then prioritize quality and speed at higher resolutions. You can mess with this. Prioritizing speed does absolutely help. It helps with it. But I don't think the fact that you should be paying $1,200 and sacrificing any quality when you just wanted to take a photo in a reasonable amount of time. And if you need more time to process, fine, go ahead. But give me some sort of vibration, some sort of acknowledgement that you know that I hit the shutter. Don't just let me tap it and it's like did I miss? What happened here? And a lot of times when there's good lighting like here, you see it's working relatively okay, right? Oh, I turned that thing on, so that's probably why. But a lot of times I think the problem is not good lighting. The problem I think happens in medium lighting, where it's confused about whether it should kick in night mode or not. And if it needs extra processing to get that image to be okay, as we have disapproving porg out here, and you know why, if you watch the channel for a while. I think that's where the problem becomes with the software, when the camera app is confused about whether it should be adding more light, how it should be handling the focus, and what mode it should be in. Because good light, you're going to be fine. But it's indoor. And the problem with that is medium lighting is basically indoor lighting. So all those things that we talked about, you're playing with your kids, you're playing with your cat, your dog, you want to catch that quick image. You don't want it to have to be at the mercy of whether it's good lighting, considered good lighting, or it's a medium lighting or okay. These cameras with these huge sensors are designed to work in low lighting situations and medium lighting situations and get good detail and to do it in a fast manner. And, they got rid of it on the S22 Ultra, or at least they got it to a point where it was acceptable. I noticed it a whole heck of a lot less. But it is back in full force on the S23 Ultra. And again, don't talk to me about how, well, that's how the computational end of it works for Samsung, and that's part of the camera experience, and that's how you get a high-quality image. There are other companies offering pretty darn good images that don't have that. That's my problem with that. That really is. So if you're somebody, you have an S23 Ultra, that's what you got, then go ahead and do that camera assistant thing, because at least you'll be able to capture those images. You'll be sacrificing quality, but in the meantime, Samsung should be working on this. It's not new. And the response they give you is, well, it's a feature. It's a feature, not a bug. Because that's how we do our processing. Find a different way to do your processing. I mean, am I nuts? Come on. What are we talking about here? There's nothing more frustrating than I was in a hurry the other night. I was trying to capture it. I was like, hold on, I got it out. Go ahead, I hit it, and it froze on me. It just stopped to the point where I thought the app itself was frozen. And it's not consistent. So I'm doing this now, and you think, well, I got to turn that off. Let's see if I turn that off, if I could kind of trigger it on medium lighting. Quick tap shutter, turn that off, go in here, and see what we got. It's not bad. See, right now it's doing it okay, because it's good lighting in here, because I have it for the video. But the second you get to medium lighting, the second you want to capture something quickly, boom, that's when it's going to hit you, and you're going to be annoyed. And to me, that's a major issue, because that's how most people, just regular consumers, are going to be using these devices and going to be using those cameras. We're not professionals. We don't go into pro mode. We don't go into raw mode. We don't manually adjust the exposure and all that other stuff. We just want to be able to take the phone out of our pocket, point and shoot, get the enhancements of the 200 megapixel sensor, and have a quality image. And if that's, we're missing images and getting blurred images is not acceptable when you're shelling out $1,200. So otherwise, I love this thing. It's been consistent. It's been the best Android I've ever used. It's been the best optimization of hardware and software I've ever seen on the Android side. But they just have to get rid of that. I don't care if it means doing your stuff, your camera app, or where you're processing your computational from the ground up. It's dumb. It's over. And I don't care what the justification is. And let me know if you've made it this far. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.